Alright, we're going to work with fractions, converting to decimals, fractions to decimals throughout this slide, this next few slides. 3 problems, show you various ways to go about it, and let's get started. Alright, our first problem here has 74 over 100. Now this is a very simple conversion because it's hundreds. We know our place value. We know that we have a 0 decimal, say 0, 0, we have the tenths, hundredths. So we have 74 over 100. That's going to tell you what place value it is. Essentially with these, there's another shortcut. Put an arrow above your 1, and that's your decimal if you have it. And it works for tens, hundreds, thousands, all the way up. Okay, so many people will see this. So let's go ahead and do our decimal here. Many people see this and say, we can reduce that. You're right, you can. But if you want to reduce it, you don't necessarily want to reduce it if you're converting it to a decimal. Check it out. Our reduced form would be 37 over 50. Pulling out the greatest common factor of a 2. So we divide each by 2. 74 divided by 2 is 37. 100 divided by 2 is 50. So now we have to do the long division here. We have to go with 50 over 30, or divided by 37. Well, we know we can't do that, so our decimal is going to be here. So 50, and that's going to be 7, so we'll have 350. Pull that out, we'll end up with 200. Bring our next 0 down, and then 4 times 50 is 200. It gives us our 0. So it's the same decimal here as here. Come on. There we go. It's the same decimal. So reducing it tends to be more work if you're not familiar with the long division, if you don't want to write that process out. So keeping it in a hundreds, over tens, over thousands, whatever is an easier conversion to decimal. Okay, next problem. 3 over 8. Let's convert this into our decimal. There is no way to make it into tenths or hundredths, so it will not work using that method, so we need to do our long division here. We have 3 divided by 8. Put it in our divisor. Here we go. 8 into 30 is going to go 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. Leaves us with 6. Bring down the 0. Give us a couple more zeros just in case. Okay, so 8 into 60 would be, let's see, 8 times 8 is 64, so that's not going to work. It's going to be 8 times 7, so that'll be 56. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a 0, so 40. Subtractions in there, just be thorough. So 8 and 40 is going to be 5, and that will leave us with 40, and we're done. That's 0, we're done. So our decimal is 375 thousandths. Remember, we have our tenths, hundredths, thousandths place, and that's how you do that. Alright, first, before we get to this problem, on the last one we had 3/8. 8 does go into 1,000, but it's going to be a lot simpler to do the math the other way around, because you're not going to know it off the top of your head that 8 times 125 is 1,000. So if you can't do the math easily one way or the other, if it's not mental math or a way to make it mental math really quick, it's probably better off to just do the math work for it. Because it's in the long run, if you don't know it right off the top of your head or can't figure it out pretty quickly, it's just going to be the same amount of work, if not more. Okay, so our problem here is 5 3/4. So this one's a fairly simple one to do. 5 is a whole number, so converting this to decimal, 3/4. We know it's 75. So that's our answer. Very simple. But let's take this one and move it into our the mental math where we can make it a little easier. Besides the 75, we know 3/4 is 0.75. We know that. But let's go ahead and do the conversion here. So 3 and 4 we times them both by 25. That's our common factor. We're going to make an equivalent fraction, and then we get our hundredths here, 75 over 100, and that is your arrow there. Put your decimal in. Obviously, you have the same answer. That way, you can see, you know, if you are able to do so. Maybe you have 2/5 and you're not sure what the decimal is. Let's go ahead and do that. 2/5. Well, we would multiply it by 2, top and bottom by 2. We would get 4/10. That would equal 0.4, right? There we go. And let's do the math. 4, it's not going to go in, so we add our 0. There you go. 10 and a 4 is 40. So we have our 0.4. So that's just an easy example to show you how it converts into the hundreds, tenths, hundreds, thousands stuff. If you're not too familiar with the division, or you're struggling with that, and you can make it a simpler method, that's fine. However you see it, you get it done, you get the answer. As long as you can explain, show your work, you're good to go.